Hello everyone, I'm Caroline.
And I'm Phil.
And it's working.
Yes.
And we're both here on time. Are you impressed? I am.
Yes, and hopefully you can hear us as well as see us.
Yes.
I
didn't check that.
I know we can be seen because on my monitor we're there. But of course, I mustn't put my sound on my monitor because it runs 12 seconds behind and that causes chaos.
Yes, I've just turned you down. It's not your hearing's gone. I've just turned it down a bit. I realised we were peeking
too
into
loud,
the red. So
there we
yes.
go. Sound and video. There we go.
Everybody. Sorry.
Yeah, it's no, yeah, mic, video's great. So
Yep.
There we go. We're ready to go, and it's great to be with you tonight.
But who were the first three people to be with us tonight?
I don't know.
let's
Who
go
were they?
have a look.
Who were they?
Right, so
Caroline's showing off. Chat
It's all
works.
working, it's
The
brilliant.
chat works this week.
first in was Jen W. Well done, Jen. Second place was Ed Creative. Well done, Ed. And in third place was Lexi B. Lexi Larks and Crafts. And, just pip to the post, Bonnie Tyler fan. But lovely to have all of you in. I can see lots of chat going on. Lots of
Yes.
weather-related chat.
I did notice it's starting to look like the BBC weather report on there with everybody comparing notes.
I know, we're supposed to be getting sleet.
Yeah.
There's a bit of rain, but there's no sleet at the moment.
Unlike some places, which just sound quite balmy and warm.
Yes, we won't mention what Jason said. I did see that comment, Jason. I
I
am
know.
dead jealous. 74 degrees, was it? It's not 74 degrees here. Well, this morning when we got up, it was -4. Just to
Yeah.
give you an idea.
Of course, we're centigrade, they're
Oh,
Fahrenheit,
yes.
so that does make a difference, because if it was 74 degrees centigrade, they'd be in real trouble.
Now, you're going to have to come closer to me because I moved everything around.
You did.
Some people get really irritated by the fact we're not central, but Phil always hangs off the edge of the table. So there we go. Hopefully we're a bit more symmetrical for everyone.
Yeah. I always find it easier to outside of the table, because we've got a fantastic table here, but of course, in order to take two laptops and the microphone, it has to be a reasonable width. So it's about 4 foot wide. And it was one we picked up. It was a real bargain from IKEA, wasn't it?
Don't hit the sorry
don't
about
hit
the
the
man.
table.
Phil's book.
But we bought it and put it on wheels.
Yes, so we can move it around
And
the
it
place.
has done the job for years
It's
now.
got to be. We bought this when we were doing Celtic Traders.
Yeah, when we started
which was
Celtic Traders.
reselling.
Yeah.
So that was 10, 12 years ago.
I don't know. I'm going
It's
to
a while
clue.
ago.
It's got to be a good while, but it does the job.
Yes.
But I tend, because the wall's behind me and the table's in front of me, I tend to work my way out to have
It's
a little
not that
bit
I
more.
smell. I
Just
hope
have
it's
a bit
not that I
more
smell.
leg room, because of course I'm sat sitting down. Otherwise, I'd be terribly tall. Well, not terribly tall, but too tall for the
We'd
camera.
have a lovely view of your jumper.
You would. It would be a choice between my head or Caroline's, and she'd win every time. So there we go. But it is great to be here. And
It is.
as I say, I stepped outside a few moments before we started because we have a outside tap and hose pipe, which in the winter I switch off and open the outside tap.
Most winters.
It went to -4 last night and I'd forgotten to do it. So I popped out and thought, right, shut the valve under the sink, open the valve outside, and to my amazement, -2 and it was raining. So that is not good for road users tonight. So there's a weather warning out.
There
because
is not to dry or be careful around you because there's a risk to life and things. So
Yeah, it's all to do with not so much snow in these parts where we are, more hail and rain coming after a heavy, just following a heavy frost. And the combination could be black ice. So wherever you are, be careful
yes,
if
stay
you have to
safe,
venture
stay
out.
warm.
Indeed.
And we're doing the best thing tonight because of the weather warning is we're not going anywhere.
No, we've got a radiator behind us, which is nice and warm.
I don't think we have to go out at all tomorrow, do we?
I do.
Oh, yes, you do.
I'm
I can
working.
stay in all day.
I'm working. Now, something to say. I'm great at this. All the things that normally people do at the end, I do at the beginning. When I go and visit folks, when I go to see a family, I give them all my cards within the first 2 minutes because I'm fed up of bringing them home with me and forgetting to leave my cards so they don't know how to contact me. The reason I'm working over this weekend and very busy this week is because I'm clearing a bit of space so that Caroline and I can take a little bit of a break before Christmas. This means that we won't be around Friday and Saturday coming.
No.
So after tonight, it's going to be a week Friday the video goes out, and on the Saturday we'll be live. But next weekend, please feel free to take a look through the back catalogue. But
yes, I'm sure you'll find one you haven't seen. I don't know, some of you are here every week. I don't think you've missed one. So if you can't live without us, there are plenty of older versions.
And a couple of people have been going through them recently, and it's interesting when the comments come up because it reminds me of videos we've done a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. But as I say, it's most likely there won't be a video on Friday. There definitely won't be a live show because we're not at home with our internet. But we're just taking a little break, and so that when the rush comes for Christmas, with work and family and everything else, we'll be re-energized. But
very optimistic.
While on our trip, weather permitting, we will be making a video as well. So,
yes, we've got something in mind.
Yes, and hopefully we can get a few Christmas lights into it.
Yes, there's some lovely Christmas lights up this year, so hopefully we'll be able to get some. Oh, I forgot to put my Christmas countdown on today because I like to put it on every Saturday right through December, and I forgot. And we won't be here next week, so the week after is definitely going to be the Christmas countdown, which I love.
It is indeed, but I tell you what I can do.
What's that?
We don't have a question
jingle. We don't.
But I have come up with, because Caroline said she didn't have a festive countdown, I have a improvised festive jingle for question time. And if we do a question now, it'll be the first time probably in the history of the live show that we've got a question done before 10 past. So we may get all the questions done. So here we go. I am about to improvise with a festive jingle. Ho, ho, ho. It's question time. There we go, folks. There we go.
He's very impressive, isn't he?
I tell you, he is very impressive. Look at this. He is so impressive. Look. Whoop. He can grow on screen. You don't get them. Don't get two of them for the price of one.
No. Fortunately.
Okay.
Where do these things come from?
Question time. This week, I used our gift from Jeff, the Gorilla Glue that he gave us to keep us together in the future for our anniversary. But I have done a repair in a previous video that some of you may well remember using the Kintsugi kit that Lexi gave us as a gift. Now, Kintsugi celebrates a repair by highlighting the joins with a golden seam. Where did the concept of Kintsugi come from? Was it A, China, B, Egypt, or C, Japan?
Go. Well, there we go.
Where do you think the concept
came from? First question underway.
As I say, I meant to bring up the piece that I'd done because I've got it there down at the shed. And I was considering whether or not to use the Kintsugi method on the piece I had this time, but it had so many repairs on it that had already been glued together, I decided just to go with the glue. But it's a beautiful idea because as you press together, you use like an epoxy paste that's got gold in it. As you press it together, it raises up a tiny seam that follows the line of the cracks. And that becomes part of the story of the piece. So rather than hide the fact it broke, the fact it was broken and repaired becomes part of its charm, part of its value, part of its story. And I think that's got a rather nice ring to it.
It does.
And it comes from a particular culture. I want to know, do you think it's A, China? Do you think it's B, Egypt? Or do you think it's C, Japan?
There are a lot of C's. Whether that's the right answer, we don't know. And Lexi,
indeed.
Santa is wearing tail trousers.
What's that?
Lexi said Santa forgot his pants.
He's just got light coloured trousers on.
They're his, what do you call it? Chinos. It's Santa chinos.
Yes, and he's got his boots on.
Oh yes, look at that.
One shrunken pants. One shrunken Santa. It's not easy to say, you know.
It's not.
Okie dokie, folks. Well, I can tell you that the correct answer is Japan.
I think everybody was on to you tonight, or most
Well,
people.
most people were. I would say 90% were. But interestingly enough, out of the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 answers, only a half of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them were incorrect. Seemed to get into the C's after, but Dan came in first but had a B. Ed came in with a B. Then Judy Erickson started the ball rolling for the winners. Gold podium.
Well done, Judy.
Got the C. Mike went with B. And then Sally Sendall went with C.
Well done, Sally.
And Lexi may have been a little further up, but she's got the bronze because she wrote the word Japan.
Oh, well
There
done,
we go.
Lexi.
Lexi decided she wasn't going to go no's, A's, B's and C's. She was going to give us the full word. And so there we go. We've got Judy, Sally and Lexi. They were our 3 podium
And
places.
everybody who got it wrong, I wouldn't mind betting at least the majority thought that you were tricking us. Because Phil does trick us sometimes, and the obvious question is very rarely the answer.
And I do try to get answers that sound like they could be right. And some people will have perhaps had a double thought and think, well, I know the Japanese do it, but did it come originally from? And think of Egypt or China or elsewhere. So there we go.
Well done,
everyone. Excellent. And we got our first question done. Well, we got the answer done before 15:15 and the question done by 10:15.
Right.
That is a record.
It is, and we got lots to cram in tonight, so I'm going to take you straight over to some Happy Mail because this is a technical Happy Mail.
Oh, that means we're going to have Happy Mail because Caroline's about to leave me.
Yes, I am.
But that's all right.
Only temporarily.
I have something to talk about while you're gone,
Good. So
which will
let's,
lead into a question.
let's have a jingle. And I had a parcel this week arrive for us from Anne and Jason. And I'll show you first. This one is for me. Now, anybody who watches my craft channel will constantly hear me say about making my patchwork. And at the moment, I've been using my normal iron, which is huge. I can't really fit it on the desk. So I've been having terrible trouble trying to do things. This is very snugly fitted in here. So, look what I got in here. It's excited. It's some instructions.
And a little one.
Look at that.
It's a baby iron.
It is. Oops. It's a baby iron, but it is
With a big
so useful. So I'm really looking forward to get stuck into my patchwork again. I've got one more quit to get made before Christmas. So time is pressing on. Pressing on. Oh, I'm so funny. But look at that. That is so handy. And I've been thinking as well, because it's so small and neat, this is handy to take away as a travel iron as well. So I thought that would be a good idea, but thank you ever so much both. I love this, and it's just perfect. It's perfectly designed for what I want it for, and it is so neat. So I'm going to enjoy that. I would show you some of my blankets, but they're already packed.
Now Caroline's going to go and do some ironing.
Yes.
When
Well,
we
that's
said
not
you
where
were
I
going to
was
disappear, they're all thinking, oh, so Caroline's off to do the
I
ironing
don't like
now.
laundry that much. Funny, I don't mind ironing my patchwork at all. You asked me to iron a shirt, and I was like, it's not so much fun. Right, the other thing that came, and this is, Phil likes his tea, but I don't mind a bit either. And it's this, look.
Oh, this is pretty tea.
It's a glass teapot with some special tea pearls in. So I am going to go upstairs now. The kettle's ready boiled, and I'm going to decide which of those. I won't show anybody what it's going. You probably saw on the front anyway, but I'm going to keep it a secret as to what happens, and we're going to do it on camera to show you what happens in my special teapot. So I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Phil. You poor things. And I will return.
Yeah, now we've gone mayhem because now I'm not even in front of the other laptop, so I'm not going to control anything. I'm not going to do anything. But I'm going to have a chat with you. And first thing to say is thank you to everyone who's been giving us feedback on the video we put out this week. We We have once or twice done compilation videos, and we've had some excellent feedback on those because under the pressure of work and the weather conditions, it gets more complicated to be making videos, and this has been a challenge to us ever since COVID, really, when we used up. We probably went into COVID with at least a dozen videos backlogged, and then we used them all up. So we've battled on with that, and we're always limping through trying to keep the videos going because we like to keep the regularity of being there every week. So then Caroline had the idea of, well, we love our auctions, and we know that the vast majority of you joined us while we were part of the mudlarking community, and therefore we appreciate that you like treasure hunting too. And of course, ultimately, that's one of the things that draws us all together, is that looking for and searching for something and not knowing exactly what it is. I'm not sure if you're going to get it, but it's all that excitement and then the reveal. So we thought, well, perhaps we could introduce a little bit of that by bringing along some of the things that we get at auction. Because as we said, for over a decade now, we've been going to auctions on a regular basis. Back in the day, we used to cover numerous auctions. We used to drive around Wales, visiting the auctions and filling the car loaded up with stuff to come back. But in more recent times, particularly since COVID, where everything changed, we've done it through online. So we'll find an auction house online that's running an auction, have a look at their catalogue, see a few things that we fancy and have a go at. And then you've got two options. You can either actually join the thing live. You can go on there, you can, with some of them, they have a camera so you can see the auctioneer and what's being held up. But you can always hear the voice, so you get the whole audio for the entire day. So you can settle down and you can literally bid live and enjoy that experience. Or you can do as we usually do these days, go through the catalogue a day or two before, place our top price bid on the items we want, and then when the auction is over, we get an email telling us you've won all these items, or we can go on the auction site. So either way, we're able to still carry on doing what we love, which is bargain hunting. We still take our trips to thrift stores as well as auctions, but being able to share it with you, we thought might work. And we've been so pleased that so many people actually enjoyed the experience. And of course, you'll see one or two more of those items tonight reintroduced, because I have based 2 or 3 of the questions on things that we bought.
Bye, Albreda.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Right then, I'm going to show you. I got these. Now, this is a little packet, but it's not a tea bag. It's a tea pearl. And this one is mango and, let me just check a second, green tea with mango flavour, hibiscus and calendula. Now, this really smells of mango. I'm going to take it out and show you how ugly it is. See, this is my ugly little pearl.
But
Oh, Albreda, thank you so much. A $10 super chat. Have a cuppa on me, thank you. Oh, that is so kind of you. Thank you ever so much.
Oh, thank you. That's
We
very,
really
very
do
kind
appreciate
indeed.
that. Thank you. That's lovely. Thank you. Right, so I'm going to show you now. I'm going to take the lid off my teapot. Here it is. And I put the boiling water in. And I'm going to pop this in here. And it's floating. It'll take a while because it's full of air. And it'll float about. But what I'll do is occasionally I'll just keep lifting it up to the camera.
Above my laptop.
Oh, look, I'm upside down in there. And I'm going to show you above the laptop. Oh, I can get my whole face in. Whoa.
Watch, it doesn't put the spout to be on my laptop. I wasn't joking about the laptop.
I'll just show it you every now and then. We'll watch what happens. Oh, I didn't bring any cups down. I'll get some cups later.
I've got a phobia about liquids, hot liquids over laptops ever since
I
we had
have
Coffee
never
Gate.
blown a laptop up by dropping liquid on it.
Now, you're all there as witnesses. If I had just held a glass teapot full of boiling water above the laptop, Caroline would have suggested I moved it.
I'm
No.
irresponsible.
No, not at all. Just wanted, because to be honest, one of the things that I love about that teapot is the pour on it. And that's the thing. It does have a beautiful pose. So if Caroline was to lean forward at the moment, then it wouldn't just dribble out the end. It's got a wonderful. It spouts out, and it would probably pour liquid about 2-3 inches away from the spout, which is why it is such a dangerous item. Okay.
Ooh, good idea, Ed.
Put it up on the shelf.
It's my sensible suggestion, person. Pop it up on there, and you may.
Yeah, you'll at least be able to see.
If you got it on a big screen, you'll be able to see something going on.
But when it drops, we'll bring it forward to you. Okay, so thanks again, as I was saying when Caroline came back. Thanks for all the feedback on the show. I'm really glad that you felt that you enjoyed it and enjoyed seeing the things that we found. That's brilliant.
Right, should we have another question?
Oh, go on then.
Right, down to you. You are Jingle Man.
Okay.
Well, you and Santa.
Are you ready for this, folks? Are you ready for this? I hope you're all in a very festive mood. We are in a very festive mood because we have trimmed up for Christmas.
We have.
I will put photos on the Facebook page later tonight.
Yes, somebody said about let's see pictures of your Christmas things. Everybody, as you decorate now throughout December, pop some pictures up on Facebook because we all love to see a bit of Christmas decorating.
This is one of our earliest years for decorating. I'm always keen to decorate, but then those around me are far more sensible. But this year we just felt it's getting cold. It hasn't been the brightest of times for most people around the world. So let's get some Christmas cheer. So the tree that Caroline used... Ooh, it's changing shade.
Something happening.
The tree Caroline used on her craft channel for the denim display, wasn't it? Because Caroline made some, and I'm going to say this because I'm not into craft, but I thought the denim was absolutely awesome, and I know my mum thought the same.
Oh, thank you.
And Caroline has actually given my mum some of the denim decorations because she was so impressed with them.
Yep.
Out of old jeans and things. But Caroline had a white tree for that display, so that went up the stairs. And it's now in our living room and decorated. So we will post pictures. So in that festive thinking way, here we go. Ho, ho, ho. It's question time. Okay, folks.
If anybody tunes in at that point, they think we're all mad. We are all mad.
Well, I'm definitely mad. So if you're watching, you've got to question your own state of mind. Okay, here we go. Our biggest buy at the auction was the Rockin' Horse. So big, we struggled to get it on screen. Now, the Rockin' Horse, as we recognise it today, has been around since about the early 17th century. And the oldest one on display in a museum belonged to a rather famous child. Or at least a child that was going to become very famous. Who was he? Does that earliest example of a rocking horse belong to A. Napoleon, B. King Charles I, or C. the Duke of Wellington?
Go.
Who do you think, folks? All right, I'm not saying they didn't all have a rocking horse, but there's one of them, and his rocking horse is deemed to be the oldest example of a rocking horse that is currently preserved and on display. And it belonged to one of those three. So if you think it was Napoleon, put an A. If you think it was King Charles I, put a B. And if you think it was the Duke of Wellington, then put a C. And we'll
Interesting. I love the way it goes in waves. You seem to have mainly A's and then the B's and the C's come in. And you tend to go through, when I'm looking at them, big chunks of different answers. So who's right? Were the first ones with the A's right? Or were the B's right? Or were the C's right? I got this one right. Phil asked me and I thought...
Yeah, you did. You took a random...
I did. My first guess, because I didn't have the names, I said, oh, Henry VIII. He was a long time ago, but he wasn't Henry VIII.
No, it wasn't Henry VIII.
Let's have a look at how our little teapot is doing. I've now moved my computer, so we're quite safe. It's turned it into a flower, look at that.
Very nice.
I thought that these were some sort of tea flower the first time I saw them, but it turns out what they are is they're all, somebody sews together all the little petals and the tea leaves, and then when they dry they shrink in and then they open back out again. It's really clever and it's pretty to watch. You do need a glass teapot to do that. You won't be able to see it in the solid one, obviously. But it's really delicious tea too. We've already had one. Yeah. And we made it last 24 hours because it was so strong. The first cup was very strong, and I kept making pot after pot after pot, and it was fine.
We drank it last night, and then we drank it again this morning,
didn't we? So it was very nice. We make them last.
And even when it gets quite weak, Caroline prefers weak tea, so Caroline would continue drinking it even after I stopped.
After you, yeah.
Yeah, because they're into flowers as well, because I have those little flowers that Phyllis bought me. Chrysanthemums, little chrysanthemums, and you put those into the pot along with the green tea, and they open up just like this, and you can see the little flowers floating around in the tea.
Very pretty Chinese tea.
Yeah, I got very into Chinese tea when we went over for the wedding.
Yet Phil's mum loves Chinese tea. But she loves tea, but she hated the Chinese tea because we always, even if you didn't use tea bags years ago, use a tea strainer to strain it and get all the tea leaves out. And in China, they just leave the tea leaves in. They're big, but you could chew them. So
Mum wasn't impressed with that.
So she didn't like that at all.
Because we had that on the Chinese boat, wasn't it? And she wasn't very impressed with
most places we had the Chinese tea, I think.
I think that's where Mum had it.
That's right, yeah.
Because Mum wasn't out very often, because my poor Mum, en route to China, fell over in Amsterdam airport and broke her collarbone.
Yeah.
Ended up having to spend the night in Amsterdam with my brother. Then had to fly out later and had chaos. They lost my brother's luggage, which was in part hysterical, but also very stressful. And it was just bonkers. And Mum spent most of the time in her room resting because she had her arm in a sling and she'd broken her
and she was asleep most of the time on the painkillers. But she did get to the wedding, so that was nice.
And it's lovely that she did, because Mum was by far the most important guest there next to the couple themselves, because they so revere the older generation in China, and the fact that Grandma had travelled all the way over and
she was quite a celebrity.
Had broken her collarbone and continued the journey to be at the wedding. She was a complete celebrity. She stole the show, didn't she? Fair play. That's my mum. Okay.
Lexi said, have you ever tried the blue tea? Think it's sweet pea or something. I did see that. I was wondering what it was like, whether it's nice or not. I haven't tried it, no. But it looks interesting. I quite like all different teas. Just a second.
Right, just coming back for another review, and then we'll have the answer to question number 2.
Look at that. Lexi said you could paint that. It's a Van Gogh tea.
You can see it differently from the back, can't you? It looks quite nice from the back as well.
Yeah, if I try turning it around.
I don't know if you can, but you can see the...
It'll be difficult to...
Do you want me to do it?
No, it's okay. I'm there. You can see there, I don't know if it's showing on the camera.
The leaves.
Can you see the sewing, the cotton on them? So now, what we do now, you're answering the...
I'm giving the answer to the question.
I'll go get us some cups.
And I can tell you that if only the answer had been Napoleon, then Mike Sage, Dan Fetters and Rufus Williams would have done wonderfully well, because they all said A. They were the first 3 answers in, but I'm sorry, boys, it wasn't Napoleon. But that makes it really good news for Ed Creative, because although he's the 4th answer in, he's the first person to say B. And it was the young prince as a boy who had won, Prince Charles, who became Charles I, who was very famous because the whole of the Civil War and everything else, I'm always talking about the Civil War when I go to these castles. He was the king that was on with the Cavaliers fighting the Royalists. Fighting the parliamentarians. So it was Charles I who had that rocking horse in, if I remember, 1610, I believe. He had his rocking horse. So, Ed, you came in first. Then we had 2 more A's from Judy and Sally. But Lexi put up a B. So Lexi, you're on silver, and then I come down, and Rachel. Now then, we got a few in a row here, but Rachel Bailey was top of the tree because Rachel and then Rufus came in with a B then. But Rachel Bailey, you got it. So it's Ed Creative, Lexi B, and Rachel Bailey that take first, second, and third.
Well done.
With Charles the First.
I'm going to give you one last look. Now it's really blown up. Look at the size on
now
that.
that does look very much like a flower, doesn't it?
Don't know where I'm going to need to come to show you in focus, so I'll sort of do that, and then you look at that. Now then,
I've got a
sample
picture. I took a picture of a different one, didn't I?
You did.
And
well, that was really weird. That came out like a big.
It came quite
Cliff
tall.
from the
It was
top,
quite
wasn't
tall. And I'll post that picture as well on the Facebook group after for you to see. There we go. Oh.
In there. We'll sample this. Definitely smells of mango.
It's very funny with flavoured teas.
Oh, that's
how
nice.
they taste of what they say, they smell of what they say, but the smell and the taste are not the same.
No. It's very tasty. I will try not to drink it all. We're supposed to be presenting the show.
Right. Okay then, folks. So well done on that.
Oh, and before we carry on then, thank you ever so much, Anne and Jason. We really do appreciate the gifts you sent us.
We do.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I'll have the tea.
And at this moment in time, with the weather as it is lovely to look out and see the frost falling outside.
Really thick frost at the moment.
Well, the frost never stopped today. We went out. We were having a meal with our eldest today, and we left at about 3:30, and the doors on our car had frozen shut. There were icicles hanging from below the door, and when we got in the car, we had to sit there for about 10 minutes for the car to warm up to get the ice off the windows before we set off, because it simply didn't defrost through the day. And there's areas on our garden that has just remained frozen all day long.
I just checked now. It's not this is not sleet. There's rain.
It's just
very little bit of rain.
Yeah.
No, I really fancy some snow. I know lots of people don't like it, and if you get a lot of it, I should imagine it's really annoying. But we very rarely get it, so I'm really hoping for snow. No sign yet.
Yeah, but not as we're travelling on the weekend. That wouldn't be so funny. Right then.
Right.
Are we going to do some happy news?
We are. So
you're going to use the news flash?
Go on then. Just use a bit of the news flash.
Yeah.
There we go. And
I can
the news for tonight. Stanley Thermos Mug does the job. Kia owner Danielle lit up TikTok with a viral video of her approaching her car which had recently caught fire. Within the torched interior stood a solitary undamaged item. It was a Stanley thermos, and it was the reason for the 84 million shares and the 60,000 comments that festooned the post. Oh, I would love to have 80 million shares. Everybody's so concerned about if the Stanley spills, but what about if it melts? She asked in the video. Then she grabs the Stanley thermos in the cup holder and shakes it. Fire yesterday, she says, still has ice in it. The firestorm of comments was filled with people egging Stanley on to reward Danielle for this incomparable advertisement, and it didn't take long for Stanley to reply. They said, "We've all seen your video. Wow, what an ordeal, and we're all glad you're safe," said Stanley Company President Terence Rayleigh in a video response. "I've seen lots of comments that we should send you some Stanleys." I just think this is lovely. "Well, we're going to send you some Stanleys, but there's one more thing. We've never done this before, and we'll probably never do it again, but we'd love to replace your vehicle." Wow! I thought he was going to be, they sent 10 Stanleys or something like this, 10 flasks, but no, they sent a car as well. So I thought that was lovely. And, well, Stanley's going to do well out of that, because I would imagine everybody wants a Stanley flask now.
And could you come up with a better advertising, if they'd sat and engaged one of the top companies, they never could have come up with something that was going to not only reach 80 million people with their product being displayed as exceptionally good, 60,000 of them are going to comment, and then their response was such that all of those people are going to think, what a decent bunch.
Yep.
When for the price of a car, say £20,000 for a Kia, £20,000, that wouldn't go anywhere in a major company's
Oh,
advertising
no.
budget. So it's a win-win all round. But that takes nothing away from the fact that what they did was exceptionally nice.
Oh, good night, Kate.
Night, and must have meant a lot to the lady whose car had caught fire. Absolutely brilliant.
We're not going to get sent a car or anything, but we've got Stanley Flask and it's brilliant. It really does keep things hot or cold for 24 hours. I'm impressed. We've had some awful flasks in the past and they didn't work, but this one really works. So they must be good.
Yes.
Right then, what are we going to do? Another question, I think.
Hold on a second.
Hold on, I'm holding.
Before I do the question,
Yeah.
doesn't matter anyway, because Santa's over here and he only answers to my instructions. Before I do the question, I'm going to bring back two of the things that we showed in the show, because the question is linked
Oh, Panky just fainted.
to the... What? He's fallen off.
She's fallen off, she fainted.
Aww.
Hey, okay, she wasn't
Where was
feeling
she?
very well. I'm going to put her to lie down. She's going to bed early tonight. Poor Panky. Good night, everyone. I'm going to bed early because I just fainted and I don't feel very well. Nighty-night. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Right, just if there's anyone in on the live show who hasn't seen the video, then you'll be seeing these for the first time, but I'm sure that most of you will have seen them already. That's the box we were showing, and I may be able to show this slightly better today because it's never as good when you're recording, I don't think, as when you can put it up live and see what you're doing. So there we go. That's the lid of the box, which I don't think came up quite that clearly when we did last time. That's with the inlay, the Tunbridge wear on there, and I do like my boxes. So I'll just pop that back down. And of course, this was my favourite box of the ones I showed, because this has that incredible piece of artwork done there, which I am 90% certain was never made to be sold in a shop. If you look on the back there, because I've looked at this closely since, can you see all the pins? Where they've used little tiny pins to pin the metal on, and around this side here. That is not the sort of thing, and you can see the joins on the side where they've pinned them down, and the lid doesn't sit perfectly, and as I mentioned when we were looking at it, it's quite an inferior box, and in fact could well have been put together out of a few little bits of timber. But piece of shed work, absolutely stunning, and so beautiful because it is so of its type.
It is.
It is of its type. The fact that an individual sat with a hammer and created that image is what's been going on for quite some time. And we will come to that now in the question. But first, ho, 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 it's question time. Whee!
But before you do the question, if I can just say, Ribble Finds and Crafts said the large platter you had was Asiatic pheasant. Thank you. Thank you for checking that out. So now we know. Asiatic pheasant. I'll try to remember that.
Look it up, and if it's worth a fortune, it'll be on eBay. I got a feeling it won't
It's
be.
not.
No, but
It's cracked.
Bit like me.
I couldn't possibly comment.
Right then, so here's the question, folks. Tunbridge cabinet makers began producing Tunbridge ware over 400 years ago. But the technique of hammering and shaping metal on the reverse side by hand dates back to antiquity.
Antiquity.
Oh, I've waited for
Ooh.
so long to use that word in a question.
There you go. I'm
Antiquity.
impressed.
Its origins are credited to ancient civilizations, and some of the finest examples are represented in the famous work on bronze Greek armor from the 3rd and 4th century BC. So we're going back a long time. What is the technique that was employed to create that metal effect called? Is it A, chasing, B, repoussé, or C, planishing?
Go.
Now, all three of those are terms that are used to describe metalwork, creating pretty crafted pieces of metal, but they are very different. We need to know which of those is referring to hand-worked from behind, pressing out the image that you want. Sometimes on a flat sheet like that, but also, as they said, on the armour, where they worked from the inside, and some intricate work has been done on vessels and the such like, and jugs and things like that, where they work from inside and create them. And not a lot of people may know this.
Shock us then, shock us.
But on a massive scale.
Massive. Not just large, but massive.
Massive
just
scale.
To clarify, this is massive.
Yeah. This is the technique that was used in the forming of the Statue of Liberty.
Ooh.
Yeah. Same principle, but done on a mega scale. Also used in the death mask of Tutankhamun.
There you go.
So,
you're a wealth of information.
I tell you, getting these quizzes ready, I end up with all sorts of useless stuff in my head. So, what do we think? Do you think it was A, chasing, B, repoussé, or C, planishing? Let's have a look. We've got some answers. We've got lots and lots of answers.
I think you've got a good selection. I don't think it's anything didn't get an answer.
No.
Didn't get picked.
We got a good variety, and 1, 2, 3. There we go. In the first 9 answers, we have 3 correct ones. So that means our answers are split at even Stevens. Even Stevens, I'd say.
Obvious.
Because the correct answer was the French word repoussé.
Repoussé.
Yeah, which I think I can't remember now. I'm learning French at the moment on Duolingo, but I wouldn't have covered repoussé yet. But I have looked up the meaning of repoussé today.
It's a bit advanced, that one.
Yeah, I can do dog, cat, and horse.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's see if you can impress everybody.
No,
now.
I've forgotten already.
Well, you could just do the plain. You've got to be very well. Ça va?
Ça va?
Were you impressed? Were you impressed?
Ça va bien?
Oh, but you remembered it! Whoa, I said, you okay? He said, yeah, I'm brilliant.
It's stupid.
That's a rough, very rough
I should not say
translation.
it's stupid. I'll offend all the French people. But we do it as well, but you don't realise you do it. They ask the question, how are you? And it says, ça va, question mark. And your answer is, I'm fine, ça va, no question mark. So you've got to do it in the sounds,
But we would say, if we met, all right? And you say, yeah, all right.
Yeah, but we'd have a yeah. We do something.
Yeah,
but
you would say yeah, all right.
They do it purely on the inquiry.
Invitation.
Yeah, that's right, that word. But yeah, I believe it, I can't remember now, it's sort of pressed from behind or something like that. So it is repoussé. So this time we go to the third answer to get the right answer, because Rufus and David both thought it was chasing. That is working from the front. Chasing is from the front, and sometimes a lot of pieces are a combination where they'll do the repoussé and the chasing in order to make the more intricate pieces, working from the front of the panel, not from behind. So both the boys went for that, and then Mike Sage storms through and takes a gold podium. Well done, Mike, because he had a B. Then we jump down a couple of answers, and we get Bonnie Tyler fan 34 as a B, followed immediately by Judy Erickson, who had B.
Well done, Judy.
So there we go. It's Mike, Bonnie Tyler fan 34, and Judy that take the podium places on this one. But interesting stuff. And the idea that it goes back to antiquity, and an individual would have been sat, possibly creating a piece of armour for a very important dignitary, or creating a death mask for a pharaoh. And then somebody sat in a shed and made that the exact same way, using the exact same skills, thousands of years later. I love that, and I love that box. And for that reason, that box may well not get sold, simply because it'll end up in my shed
with all the other boxes,
with screws in or something,
yeah,
or pipe stems or something. I do like, well, I like boxes, I like cupboards, I like chests. I like wooden things. Wooden things. I'm into wooden things.
Right.
Shall we have some more happy news?
Let's.
Yeah, can't have too much happy news.
Want a news flash?
Now, I chose this story because it involves bricks. Now, there are those out there who know that I quite like bricks. And whilst I have ceased being an avid collector now in our sort of mature years, as we've made changes, I still have quite a collection, and I've begun to use them. We've made a beautiful little area down in our garden now, haven't we? And I'm hoping to share when the spring comes. We hope to share that with you, because we've planted our rose there, and that's growing a good one, isn't it?
You may remember Arthur. We got
Arthur
the
the
Bell
rose that we brought back with us from a trip in the camper.
It looked this big, but then when you took it out of the pot, you take the depth of the pot, it was only little.
He's not now, he's about 8 foot high.
Yes, so he's looking really well. So as soon as Arthur's in bloom, we'll stick a picture over on the Facebook page.
We will.
See our path and Arthur.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll do an update from the garden as well in the spring, because we can show. I'm really pleased, because between the bricks, the thrown away garden ornament, and the scrap metal that we picked up on the street, I think we made quite an interesting feature.
We did. We got like a mini garden roomy type thing.
Yes.
The thing is, Phil is just jealous because John has built a folly in his garden.
Oh yeah.
Then Phil's sort of.
I ain't gonna look. I am not going to even begin to compete with John.
It's the difference between a poached egg and a 3-course cordon bleu meal, really. But we like our poached egg, don't we?
I do. And all it took was hammer and nails, and digging, and concrete, and carrying scrap metal.
And it's almost level.
But here we go. Teenager shares his love for Lego. There we go. Different bricks. Charlie Jeffers has been playing with Lego since he was 4 or 5, and credits one of the most famous of all toys for helping him learn maths and engineering concepts, and how to be focused, flexible and creative. It occurred to him that many kids don't have access to play tools like Lego, and their emotional and cognitive development suffers as a result. And he realised, by getting Lego into the hands of kids who can't afford them, he could also avoid them ending up in landfill. He launched Pass the Bricks in 2020 to address both these issues. He and his volunteer-based team collect used Lego bricks, sanitise and sort them, create new sets with the used bricks, and deliver the sets to kids in marginalised communities. The team distributes the sets to kids in need directly through partnerships with 11 various non-profit organisations. To date, the organisation has delivered over 3,000 sets to kids in need, and people have spoken of seeing the immediate value in the gifts that were given.
That's a brilliant idea, isn't it?
Yep. I just thought, but again, because we've had a few recently, and I tried to pick up the news on these, again, a young teenager who had an idea.
Yep.
And followed through on it. We had the one the other week with the student that was in agricultural college who started thinking, well, it's all tinned and box products. I'll do fresh products for the giveaway food banks. And there's been so many things where young people are coming up with bright ideas. But I thought that was brilliant. One, if you are in a position whereby you haven't got much, somebody turning up with the gift of Lego, you're going to cherish it. You're going to play with it. And as the young man said, Charlie Jeffers, he really believes that his early introduction to Lego has shaped his thinking with regards to maths, engineering, his flexibility, his creativity and other things, and he wants to pass that on. So I thought that was brilliant. Always nice to share happy news. I reckon there should be a happy news channel that just goes out every day for an hour bringing us happy news.
That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Well, the time is motoring on. I know we got the first question done by 10 past, but it's now 10 to.
Right, we've got 2 to go.
I think we'd better do question number 4.
Okay, go on then. It's down to you.
Sorry.
If you want to, ask Moose to step in instead.
Shall I?
Go on then. I'm sure everybody
Who wants to see the moose? Anybody want to see the moose? Yes, I think they want to see the moose, lad. I think they're all on your page. Yeah, come on, Mr. Moose. Mr. Oi, yeah, no, Yeah, it's all right.
He's coming.
Santa said you can.
We've been looking in the attic and finding all old decorations we had given us a while ago now. Look at the most ridiculous things. Look at this.
If you think that's funny, try that. Yup.
He's got very... Whoops. Got expandable... Pull his legs.
There you go.
He's got expandable legs.
He's too tall now. Okay. Here we go. It's question time.
Aha. Beata said moose in German is der Elch. Elch?
Ooh.
Not sure how the end of that goes.
Elch. Der
Yeah, as you
Elch.
can tell, I can't speak German. I can say a few things, but not much.
Okay. This is not a moose-related question, but it is related to some of the china that turned up. And somebody said in a comment, Phil, you could fix that little dish. So Phil did. And while fixing it, it became obvious that on the back you can see it has had several repairs before. This has been repaired several times by the owner, who obviously felt it was precious enough and useful enough to them to put back together. And it looks almost like Kitsugi on the back because their glue has discoloured and has gone almost golden, which I think is quite fun. But what I want to talk about is blue and white. Okay, here we go. First appearing in the Tang Dynasty, blue and white porcelain became mainstream in China between the late 1300s and the 1600s, before reaching its peak in the early 1700s. But who was the man credited with originating the willow pattern design in the UK in 1780? Was it A, Thomas Milton, B, Arthur Meakin, or C, Joseph Wedgwood?
Go. And Beata, so it's a softer spelling, so it's Elsh, is it? Let me know if Elsh is right. We'll get there in the end. Oh, let's have a little look.
Ooh, lots of answers, lots of answers. Yes, yes, yes.
Not many B's. Ian Upfolds put a D, that's interesting. And no S in it. Elch. So it's not Elch because it's too hard. It's not Elsh. Elch. I don't know, Beata. How do you say it? Right, I'm going to go off you now. So I've disappeared. I have no idea what's going on. I'm going to see if I can find...
Now we're in trouble. Anything could happen now. If it suddenly all disappears on my screen, I'll know it's your fault here. Definitely.
Right then. Sounds like... Oh, it isn't Phoneta. Oh, all it says on my screen is you pronounce it ELCH.
You got a sounding, eh? It'll tell you.
Yeah, let's try it. Here we go.
Elch.
Elch. What's she saying?
Elch.
Elch. Elch. Is it Elch?
There you go.
I got that
You're
right.
going to go back onto the screen now so you know
Okey-dokey.
where we are.
Yep, that's fine. There. And we've got a big red mark up for there for some reason. I'll ignore that. Right then. So do you need me on that screen now?
No, no, no.
All right. Okay then.
I just panic when I can't see the screen over there because I think it's, oh, we're going to go wrong.
No, you'll be fine.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
Okay, here we go. Let's give the answers because I can see that quite a few people have got this one right. Yes, they have indeed.
Right.
Because the answer is Thomas Milton. Famous for his tiles. Had Milton's ceramics company, but not when he came up with this idea. He was working for another company as a designer when he came up with the design. So if you said A for Thomas Milton, you've got it right. And the very first answer in was from Mike Sage, and
Well
he
done,
got it
Mike.
right. That's his second goal tonight, I think. Mike's on form now. Judy Erickson, straight after Mike with an A.
Well done, Judy.
David went B, but then Ed Creative went A. So we got
Oh.
our 3 prize winners
Well done,
are
Ed.
Mike, Judy, and Ed.
Excellent.
Of course, when I say prize winners, I say that in a
Very loosely.
metaphorical.
It's the glory. It's the glory. You get free glory.
Yes. Now, I have, before the final question of the night, I do have one question which I think people may find interesting.
Right.
And it's related to these items.
Ooh.
And just want to say, why is that running behind?
I don't know.
You're running behind here because that's not showing
Oh,
what
don't
I'm
panic.
doing.
Don't panic. Don't panic.
I'm panicking now.
It's okay. Don't panic, Mr.
Right,
Banner.
Caroline will sort that out and I'll
There
carry
you
on.
go.
There we go.
See? It's okay.
Yeah, I thought, hang on, I just held that up. It didn't go.
I've got a nervous twitch then.
I have, I
did
worry.
when I'm dealing with this.
Because these, I've just got 3 here. These were the clock faces. There's a lovely one for our beginning of December and coming into the time of Advent. There's a lovely picture of the nativity scene there on that one. I'll just pass that over to you, my darling. Here's a slightly larger one, and that's got brilliant image of a country scene where you've got the child sat right here, and then you've got the horse and the cart and the people, and I thought that was absolutely beautiful. And finally, one with a bit of colour in it, and larger again. We're going bigger and bigger all the time, because there we have Monkey in a Frame. There we go. And thank you to Ed for putting up an image of one of these that was actually up for sale and giving us a price point on it. Possibly in slightly better nick and maybe a little rarer than ours, I don't know, but it was certainly interesting because it was over £70,
Yeah. So.
which was brilliant news. So these are decorative plates for the faces of clocks. And here's my question. The first grandfather clock was made in the 1670s, but then it was called a long case clock or a floor clock because it had a long case and it stood on the floor. It wasn't until 1876 that it became called a grandfather clock as a result of a work by Henry Clay.
Oh.
What was it? Was it a poem by Henry Clay? That would be A. A song by Henry Clay? That would be B. Or a book by Henry Clay? That would be C.
Go.
What do you think, folks? Henry Clay came up with something that was very popular and brought the word grandfather clock into our language. Up until that point, no one referred to their long case or floor clock as a grandfather clock. Then they did. Do you think he produced a popular poem in 1876, a popular song, or a popular book?
Like Ed said, do you clean those surrounds or leave them with the partner? This was always the big debate when I used to do a lot of reselling, and some resellers always polish things up. It's upside down, isn't it? One, I don't think these are solid brass. I think they're like a Ormolu, is it, type thing? Or they coated, but I don't think they're solid, because if you have a look on the back as well, and I could be wrong, they could be tarnished, so I'm not sure if they would clean up. So some people would clean up a brass item because people love shiny things, but the majority of people who buy brass items, just pop that down there, it's quite sharp. The majority of people who buy brass things like to buy them, I found anyway, with the partner on them, either because they like them with the partner on because it made them look used, or some of them like to polish them themselves and they love to get a really grotty, nasty looking item, and then they spend ages polishing it up and completely change it. Like if you have silver and it comes to you and it's all black, they could polish it up and it would look amazing, and the same with any copper as well, and brass. So I don't know. I've never thought about brass. I know I've only ever really shone, if I cleaned anything up, it's been the copper or silver. But I don't think I've ever polished brass at all.
No, we usually sell it as is. Let somebody else do
Yes.
the elbow grease.
And there's two reasons. One, you might as well give them what they want, and two, that way then you haven't got to clean them.
Yes.
I don't love cleaning that much.
Okay, well, Mike, sorry, mate. You have really got your modem on top steam power because you were first answered in, but you missed your third gold because it wasn't a book. But Ed came in second and he got it right because it was a song called My Grandfather's Clock.
There we go.
And that's what made it famous. So we're looking for B for song. Ed Creative, you've got the first one. Dan, you went with Mike on C. Sorry, you didn't get it. Then we've got Lexi B with a B.
Well done, Lexi.
And Beata Heinz.
Well done, Beata.
And I know for a fact that Beata's had a bit of snow because there was a picture. There we go. So it's Ed, Lexi, and Beata.
Well done, Ed, Lexi and Beata. And Rufus is being a bit sad because he said, this is more fixed than a rocking horse riding. Okay, not that I'm one who's going to fix things, but after the go, somebody's got to tell me what colour socks Rufus is wearing, okay? Let's see if Rufus can get it right. And we're going to have a 1, 2, 3, go. There you go, Rufus. What colour socks? Oh, what has Rufus got on his feet? I think that's what I said, wasn't it?
No, you said what colour socks
What colour socks is Rufus wearing?
So you're taking a gamble on the fact that Rufus is wearing his socks?
Yes, well, no, they may be no socks.
Yeah,
Rufus
Ed Creative's
may
going blue.
Oh, come on, Rufus.
Mike
come
says
on.
red.
Rufus,
I ain't got any on. Well done, Rufus. You were right. You've got a gold podium.
You're excellent. I'm impressed, Rufus.
Well done.
That wasn't a total
There we
fix.
are. You've got gold. You've got silver. You've got bronze. You've even got a fourth position because you're the only one who
I think
knew.
you're the only one. So we were black, green. Oh,
Yeah,
we're going to be Bonnie
stripe.
Tyler fans.
Oh,
Second place
you're gonna have,
with
you're gonna have
Well
to
done,
share one of
Bonnie
those
Tyler fan.
podiums.
I'm
Okay.
striped and yellow.
Now for the question everybody's been waiting for.
Right.
Listen to
Here we
it
go.
carefully. In how many places did Mankey appear in this week's video? Was it 1, 2, or 3?
Go.
What are you thinking, folks? How many times did he appear in this week's video?
Ooh, first answer's in. Dan Petter said 1. Beata 1. Mike 1. Phyllis 1. Ed 2. Rufus C. Bonnie Tyler 1. 1. Jeff's in. Hello, Jeff. 3. 1, 1, 1. Ribble finds a graph 3 times, 2 places. Behind the bottles. Again, behind the bottles. And on the shed higher up.
Ah.
Who's right? I know who's usually right.
Yeah.
Hello, Jeff.
Right.
I would imagine it's pretty chilly on the farm tonight, Jeff. Hope the decks are nice and warm.
Okay. I accept the fact that some people may have misunderstood my question as usual. And
I mean, as usual, we do our best. We're
and
tricky.
classified the shed as one place. But I concur with Ribble Finds and Crafts.
Oh, there's a bit of
because
concurring going on here.
the reason for my specific statement of how many places was because he was playing about behind the bottles for quite a while, but then later he climbed up onto the top shelf. So in amongst the bottles and on the top shelf are the 2 places where he appeared in the video.
Ooh.
So we are looking for 2, and fortunately you're all over the world and you're in separate places, so we can't have a fight over this. So we come down and Ed Creative is the first one to give the answer 2.
Well done, Ed.
Then Ribble Finds and Crafts
Well
said
done,
3
Ribble
times
Finds.
but in 2 places. So they got it spot on. And Jeff, I believe, last answer, Jeff came in at the top with an answer, then took a second answer. So Jeff, I believe there are only 3 correct answers.
Ooh.
And they are Ed, Ribble Finds, and Jeff.
Well done, Jeff.
Who got
so
it.
there we go.
Sorry for any confusion, folks, but let's be honest.
We always confuse
If there
you.
was no confusion when Mankey's around, then it wouldn't be Mankey.
Well, you think you tuned into the wrong channel, wouldn't
I
you?
know. And it's all just a bit of fun. Well, it's 5 minutes after
And it's
10.
freezing and rainy with Jeff. There we go. Thank you for
Yeah.
letting us know, Jeff.
And
yes,
thank
it's
you for
time to go.
everyone. We haven't had time to go through all the things that were on the Facebook page, but go over there and have a look. If you're not a member of the group, please send a request. More than happy to put you in. Lovely pictures up. Brought back such happy memories of a year ago when we went and gave a surprise to little Oliver for
Yes.
his birthday
He's
last
not so little
year.
now.
No, he's growing up all day. He's just had his
Yes.
9th birthday last Thursday. Thank you for all the lovely photos, for all the food, for all the other things, for all the beautiful gifts you're beginning to buy for Christmas. We're going to put up another picture of the tea. We're going to put up our photos of our decorations. Please share yours. We'd love to see
Yes.
them. There we go. That's my
Right.
bit.
So, I know
We-
I haven't got my final card again, so you're going to have to put up with us.
And we're not here next
We're
week.
not here next week.
I just
No,
remembered.
we're going away next week, so we will be here the week after, and we're going to have the Christmas countdown. And if I forget, you'll notice the countdown suddenly change halfway through the countdown, okay? I really got to try to remember to put the Christmas countdown on the week after next. So we'll see you then. But until then, don't forget, have fun.
Bye.
Right, here we go. We're going to plug you up, plug you. There we go.